Hi, I'm Ali. When my husband Paul was made redundant from his job, I decided to take time off as well, to fulfil our dream of sailing and exploring the east coast of Australia.
The adventure has only just begun and you can join us. We're the Lobbies, that's our boat cat Scuttlebutt, and together we're sailing champagne on ice. Hit the subscribe button to see our weekly clips. This time we're still on the Gold Coast, and with our haul out for annual maintenance and some serious boat jobs planned, it was time to get in shape.
We'll be taking the boat from Southport up through the Broadwater and into the Coomera River, home of the biggest complex of boatyards in Australia.
The trip took us past the famous multi-million-dollar mansions of the Gold Coast's most exclusive address, Sovereign Island. Past the super yachts at Gold Coast City Marina, past the famous Riviera factory, and to our anchorage outside the boatworks, where we had a date with the sea lift.
We'd heard about the boatworks for years and were so excited to be slipping our boat here. Catamarans are lifted out of the water by a large remote control hydraulic forklift which is driven down the ramp and slid underneath the boat. When the operators are satisfied with how it's sitting, up she comes like a toy boat on wheels. Very exciting! It's amazing, it's so gentle.
One of the jobs this time was to remove the rudders so the bearings could be replaced. Our team was quick to jump inside the boat to undo the bolts. The rudder posts are so tall they had to be removed while the boat was suspended high in the sea lift.
Next stop was into the washdown bay where the sludge and barnacles were blasted off with a pressure spray. Then she was taken up to the yard where she would stay until all the work was done.
Cookie, the veteran rigger from S&H Spas, was quickly on the scene with his crew to help us with another of our major jobs, replacing the stainless steel rigging that holds the mast up.
The mast was lifted off by crane in a delicate but swift operation and placed on the ground beside the boat.
Well, this is a view of the mast that you don't often get to see. This is the very top of the mast. And one thing that we want to show you is that have a look what the cockatoos have done in Newcastle, or the cockatiels to be more precise. They come through the marina like a raiding party. This is look at the state of our VHF antenna. The plastic sheath is ripped off it by the cockatiels, and it's also bent at about a 45-degree angle.
Well, so they had a lovely platform to sit on with a TV aerial.
That's the old TV antenna.
As you can see, they've done all this work up the top.
Yeah, the little buggers. So anyway, suffice to say, we're going to get a new VHF antenna to keep us going up the coast.
Yep.
We're also replacing the rubber seals where the engine sail drive legs go through the hulls. They're important because they keep the water out of the boat. And we found oysters growing underneath the old seals. They weren't Sydney rock oysters, so we didn't bother cracking them open. All the big jobs were underway, but not long after we arrived in the boatyard, so did the rain, and the bad weather would end up costing us another week of delays.
As we were able to stay on the boat through all of this, it was a bit like living through a house renovation. And because the boat was out of the water, we couldn't use our onboard facilities like the washing machine or the toilets which need seawater to flush. But luckily, the Boatworks has us covered with a special little house for all the liveaboards to use.
Industrial washers and dryers, a nice little kitchen with a table of free stuff, and the ubiquitous boatyard library where you can swap books anytime you like. Also nice clean bathrooms and showers there, and outside here is the hangout area for everyone to gather at the end of a busy day working in the boatyard. And right here next to the wall of fame there's actually an outdoor shower for grotty yachties who've been working in the boatyard and aren't welcome inside the nice clean bathrooms.
They even had a flourishing edible garden that saw us harvesting fresh greens for our meals every day. Scuttles also kept up her energy with her morning lick of coffee so she could keep an eye on our feathered friends who'd stop by each day to see how the work was progressing.
With a break in the weather, Marn swung into action and sprayed the hulls with antifoul after earlier preparing the underwater surface in the rain. Alison slaved over the heat gun, removing our faded old stickers, and then we applied the bright new ones. All Alison's hard work getting the old stickers off is now come to fruition, and look at that. It's like a new boat, brand new Seawind 1160. There you go. You only need a new sticker to look like a new boat. Our time at the boatyard coincided with the federal election, so we found the nearest interstate voting centre, ran the gauntlet of campaign leaflets and huddled in a cardboard booth, carefully numbering boxes along with the rest of our fellow Australians who would ultimately throw ScoMo out on his ear. Well, we've just been to vote. We've done our democratic duty and we're voted here in Queensland as New South Welshmen.
It's great.
We're in the Boatworks courtesy car again, and we're off to Bunnings warehouse.
Yep, and then the supermarket.
And then to get some provisions.
But you know what was the most amazing thing is the gentleman who served us actually knew where the state in which I was born, because everyone thinks I was born in New Zealand in Queenstown, but no, it's Queenstown, Tasmania, and he knew.
There you go, and he was a boatie too, so
Yay!
There's boaties everywhere here in Queensland.
Got information about travelling north that we can add to our little list. The courtesy car fitted just perfectly under the boat. Shame we couldn't keep it. Back at the boatyard, it was curtain up on the delicately choreographed performance to return our mast to its rightful place, standing proud aboard.
After almost 2 weeks in the yard, it was time for the final piece of the puzzle, but it wouldn't come easily. The sea lift was back to lift us up so the rudders could be slid into their new bearings. But one of the bearings made by a company on site was out by a couple of millimetres, which made for a big headache getting the rudder post back in. A lot of lifting, twisting, sanding, lubing, and to the boys' credit, very little swearing had the 10-minute job done in a mere few hours.
As our late friend Captain Beaver, Dave Grinstead, would say, that's boating! All that was left was the sea lift drive back to the ramp and into the muddy water of the Coomera River. Well, darling, we're finally leaving the boatyard and floating again. How are you feeling?
We're finally floating again after all those frustrating jobs and delays.
I know.
It's good to be a boat again and not a caravan. So here's the list of all the work we completed during the haul-out. New standing rigging and electrics for the mast, including an internet booster, new rubber seals for the sail drives and engine mount bolts, new rudder bearings, and the annual anti-foul and polish. It was a fair hit for the wallet, but that's boating. Ah, Queensland, it's drizzling one day and pissing down the next. We're just having a lovely little walk in the rain today because where are we going?
We're going to the boat show.
We're off to the boat show. It just happens to be on while we're here on the Gold Coast, so we've anchored in the Coomera River.
It's raining so much. Look what we're wearing.
Yeah, this is what you wear in Queensland during La Nina. This is the new Queensland fashions. It's wet weather gear every day of the week.
Yes, from head to toe.
It was bucketing down at the boat show, but we still had fun meeting David from Blue Water Yachts from Lake Macquarie, who makes these beautiful little Signet 20 trailer yachts.
We also inspected a brand new Riviera 57 flybridge with fellow Niue Cruising Fleet member and Riviera devotee Hendo.
You look right at home at the controls there, Hendo. Despite being grotty yachties, we were lucky enough to be invited to the Riviera Lounge, where we sat down for some drinkies, lunch and a great old chinwag with the Henderson boys. Andrew and his brother Graham, both mad keen boaties.
The Newcastle connection continued with Brian and Di Gardell turning up as well, along with Riviera royalty Joycey, rounding out a great afternoon at the show and our time on the Gold Coast.
Next time, we leave the Gold Coast behind, turn the boat into a Chinese laundry, Alison gets a highly professional haircut, I catch crabs, and we spend some time with a playful galah.